First encounter. Captain Alina Reyes stood motionless on the bridge of the UES Defiant, her dark eyes fixed on the massive view screen. The unknown vessel that had appeared at the edge of the solar system 3 days ago was finally close enough to see in detail. Its hull gleamed with an iridescent sheen unlike any material produced on Earth, and its asymmetrical design defied conventional human engineering logic. "Any response to our hails yet, Commander?" she asked, her voice betraying none of the anxiety churning in her stomach. Commander Jackson Wee shook his head. "Nothing, Captain. We've tried all frequencies and protocols developed by First Contact Division." Reyes nodded. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades, ever since the development of the Alcubierre drive had made interstellar travel possible. They'd established colonies on Mars and Europa, built a fleet of exploratory and defensive vessels, but this was the first confirmed contact with an intelligent extraterrestrial species. "Keep broadcasting the First Contact package," she ordered, "and maintain our position. No aggressive maneuvers." The alien vessel continued its approach, slowing as it reached the orbit of Mars. Then, without warning, the communications console lit up. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," Wei announced, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. I think they've deciphered our language matrix." The view screen flickered, and Reyes found herself staring at a being unlike anything she'd imagined. The alien had a semi-translucent blue-gray skin that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Multiple dark eyes arranged in a crescent pattern regarded her with what she could only interpret as curiosity. "Greetings, Earth vessel," the alien spoke, its words translated through the ship's eye. "We are the Vraxian Collective. We come with peaceful intent to establish relations with your species." Reyes stepped forward. "On behalf of the United Earth Government, I welcome you. I am Captain Alina Reyes of the UES Defiant." The alien inclined what appeared to be its head. "I am Overseer Zillith. We have been observing your system for some time. Your development has progressed at an unexpected rate." There was something in the way Zillith said "unexpected" that put Reyes on edge. She maintained her diplomatic composure. "We would be honored to meet in person, if that would be acceptable." "Agreeable," Zillith responded. "We will prepare a delegation. Our scans indicate your vessel has compatible docking capabilities." After the transmission ended, Reyes called an immediate meeting of her senior staff. Strategic Defense Intelligence Officer Lieutenant Commander Anaya Patel was the first to speak. "They've been watching us. For how long? And why approach now?" "The timing aligns with our Jupiter antimatter facility coming online," Wai pointed out. "Perhaps they detected the energy signature." Reyes nodded. "Which means they've been monitoring our technological progress." "Lieutenant Khatri, what's your assessment of their vessel?" Chief Science Officer Vikram Khatri pulled up a holographic display. "Their propulsion system appears to use a form of gravitational manipulation we've theorized but never successfully implemented. Their hull material absorbs most of our scanning frequencies. But what's most interesting?" He highlighted a section of the ship. "These appear to be weapon emplacements, far more advanced than ours. If I had to guess, they could cut through our shields like butter." The room fell silent as the implication sank in. "So we're outgunned," Reyes stated flatly. "Conventionally, yes," Khatri agreed. "But our prototype inversive shield array hasn't been activated yet. They wouldn't have detected it during passive scans." Reyes weighed her options. "Keep the inversive shields offline for now. We don't want to appear threatening. But have them ready." 12 hours later, the Vraxian delegation boarded the Defiant. Overseer Zillith was accompanied by 3 specialists, who immediately began examining their surroundings with devices that resembled ornate jewelry more than scientific instruments. "Your ship is functional," Zillith commented as Reyes led them to the conference room. "Though your dependence on linear corridors seems inefficient. We've found it suits our purposes," Reyes replied diplomatically, noting how the Vraxians had to duck through doorways designed for human height. In the conference room, Chief Engineer Mohammed Azam presented an overview of human history and technological development. The Vraxians listened with what Reyes interpreted as polite disinterest until he mentioned Earth's recent breakthroughs in adaptive materials and quantum computing. "You claim to have achieved quantum supremacy only 30 Earth years ago," one of the Vraxian specialists interrupted, their bioluminescent patterns flashing rapidly. "That timeline is improbable." "I assure you, it's accurate," Azam replied. "Necessity drives innovation. The climate crisis of the 2040s forced us to accelerate our research." Zilith made a gesture that caused the specialist to fall silent. "We find that species typically follow predictable development patterns. Yours appears to have taken unusual turns." The diplomatic exchange continued, with the Vraxians revealing little about their own civilization, while probing deeply into human achievements. They seemed particularly interested in Earth's defensive capabilities. "We maintain a defensive fleet primarily for protection against cosmic threats," Reyes explained carefully. "And of course, to safeguard our colonies." "Of course," Zilith agreed. "Though we detect only modest weapon systems aboard this vessel, your species seems to prioritize other technologies." There was a dismissive tone that Reyes couldn't ignore. The Vraxians clearly didn't consider humans a military equal, perhaps not even a threat. She decided it might be beneficial to let them continue underestimating Earth's capabilities. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent communication. A Vraxian scout ship had approached Europa without authorization and triggered the automated defense grid. The small vessel was now trapped in a containment field. "Your defenses attacked our scout." Zilith's patterns flashed with what Reyes now recognized as agitation. "Your vessel violated a clearly marked exclusion zone," Commander Way countered. "Our automated systems responded as programmed." "Release our ship immediately," Zilith demanded. Reyes maintained her composure. "Of course." The incident was unfortunate but easily resolved. She sent the deactivation codes to Europa's defense grid, but privately signaled Commander Wei to maintain alert status. The Vraxians were testing boundaries, and she didn't appreciate it. What happened next was unexpected. As the containment field deactivated, the Vraxian scout attempted an immediate high-speed departure, directly toward Europa's research facility. "They're scanning our subsurface installations," Lieutenant Pottle reported urgently. Without hesitation, Reyes gave the order. "Activate inversive shields. Targeted deployment." The Defiant's prototype defense system came online for the first time in a non-test environment. Unlike conventional shields that created energy barriers, the inversive system generated a localized distortion in spacetime, effectively making the protected object exist slightly out of phase with normal space. The Vraxian scout's sensors went blind. To them, Europa's research facility simply vanished. On the bridge, Zilith's patterns pulsed rapidly. "What have you done? Where is the installation?" "Still exactly where it was," Reyes replied calmly. "We've simply adjusted its relationship with spacetime, a defensive measure we developed recently." The revelation clearly shocked the Vraxians. Their internal communication was rapid and agitated, though the translation systems couldn't keep up. "This technology," Zilith finally said, "it defies conventional physics models." "We found conventional physics insufficient for our needs," Reyes stated simply. The demonstration had achieved its purpose. The Vraxians' assessment of human capabilities was being rapidly recalculated. What they had dismissed as a technologically inferior species now presented an entirely different kind of potential threat, or ally. "Perhaps," Zilith said carefully, "we should discuss a more formal exchange of information. It seems the Vraxian Collective and Earth may have much to learn from each other." Reyes nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "I believe that would be in everyone's best interest." As the Vraxian delegation prepared to return to their vessel, Zilith approached Reyes privately. "Your species developed differently than most we've encountered. Isolated innovation often produces unexpected results. Humanity has always been good at finding unconventional solutions," Reyes replied. "Indeed, We will be watching your further development with great interest, Captain Reyes. The unspoken message was clear. The Vraxians had reassessed humanity's position in their cosmic hierarchy. First contact had not gone as they expected, and humanity's unique approach to technology had earned, if not respect, then certainly caution. As Reyes watched the Vraxian shuttle depart, she knew that the real negotiations were just beginning. Proving ground. 3 days after the Europa incident, the Vraxian collective extended a formal invitation. They proposed a joint military exercise in the outer reaches of the solar system, a cultural exchange to better understand each other's capabilities and protocols. In the secure briefing room of UES Command Headquarters, opinions were divided. It's an intelligence-gathering operation, Admiral Helena Ortiz stated flatly. They want to assess our real military strength. Of course they do, Defense Secretary Omar Kamau countered, just as we want to assess theirs. The question is whether the strategic value of what we learn outweighs what they learn about us. Captain Reyes, summoned to Earth for this crucial meeting, studied the holographic projection of the Vraxian flagship. They've already seen our inversive shielding technology. That was our most closely guarded development. Not quite, said Dr. Eliza Chen, head of Advanced Weapons Research. She activated a classified file with her biosignature. The Artemis protocol was completed last month. It's never been field tested outside our secure facilities. The room fell silent as the specifications appeared. Earth's leadership exchanged glances of both pride and apprehension. Are we prepared to reveal this technology if necessary? President Seto asked quietly. The question, Reyes interjected, is whether we're prepared for the consequences if we don't. The Vraxians clearly expected to find a less advanced civilization. Their reaction to the inversive shield suggests they're reassessing that evaluation. If they determine we're a potential threat rather than a potential ally. The implication hung heavily in the air. Captain Reyes will leave a small fleet to this exercise, President Seto finally decided. The Defiant, plus 3 vessels equipped with our standard defensive and offensive capabilities. The Artemis protocol remains classified unless absolutely necessary. A week later, Reyes stood on the bridge of the Defiant as it approached the designated coordinates, accompanied by the destroyers UES Indomitable, UES Resolute, and UES Dauntless. The vastness of space beyond Neptune's orbit stretched before them, seemingly empty until the Vraxian vessels decloaked. There were 5 of them, each larger than the Defiant. Their hulls gleamed with that same iridescent material, shifting colors as they moved against the backdrop of distant stars. They've been waiting for us, Commander Wei observed, probably watching our approach the entire time. Reyes nodded. Let them watch. It's what we agreed to. The main view screen activated, showing Overseer Zilith. Today, the alien's bioluminescent patterns seem more structured, formal. Captain Reyes, the Vraxian Collective welcomes you to this joint exercise. We have prepared several scenarios to demonstrate tactical capabilities and response protocols. We look forward to the exchange, Reyes replied diplomatically. The first demonstration began immediately. 3 smaller Vraxian vessels detached from their flagship and formed a triangular formation. Energy pulsed between them, creating a web-like pattern that expanded outward. They're generating some kind of unified field, Lieutenant Catry reported, studying his instruments. It's unlike anything in our database. The field continued expanding until it encompassed a small rogue asteroid that had been designated as the exercise target. Then, without warning, the asteroid simply dissolved into its component atoms. Matter deconstruction on a molecular level, Catry whispered. The energy requirements would be astronomical. Reyes maintained her composure despite her shock. Impressive technology, Overseer. Zilith's patterns pulsed with what might have been pride. A standard planetary defense measure. It allows for the neutralization of threats without generating problematic debris. The demonstration continued with increasingly advanced weapon systems, targeted gravitational distortions, directed plasma streams that could slice through titanium alloy like paper, and what appeared to be artificially generated micro-singularities. After each demonstration, Zilith waited expectantly for Earth's response. "I believe it's our turn to share," Rice finally said. "Commander Wei, prepare the Kessler maneuver." The 3 Earth destroyers moved into position around the Defiant. Unlike the Vraxians' precise formation, they appeared to be arranging themselves randomly. "This is a defensive tactic we developed," Rice explained as the smaller ships began deploying clusters of what looked like simple metal spheres. Hundreds of them, spread out in seemingly chaotic patterns. Zilith's patterns indicated confusion. "These objects appear to be inert." "Appearances can be deceiving," Rice replied. "Lieutenant Patel, if you would demonstrate." A target drone was released from the Defiant. As it flew through the field of spheres, Patel activated the system. The spheres suddenly connected with invisible energy threads, creating a complex 3-dimensional web. The drone was instantly immobilized, caught in a mesh that didn't physically exist until it was triggered. "We call it the Kessler field," Rice explained. "Named after an old Earth scientist, it's particularly effective against high-velocity projectiles and energy weapons, as the response scales proportionally to the incoming force." The Vraxians were visibly impressed, their patterns pulsing rapidly as they communicated among themselves. "A passive reactive defense system," Zilith observed. "Elegant in its efficiency." The exchange of demonstrations continued, each side revealing capabilities while undoubtedly holding others in reserve. The atmosphere was one of cautious respect, with a competitive undercurrent that Rice found almost familiar, like the strategic naval exercises Earth conducted with different nations. Then the unexpected happened. The Defiant sensors detected a massive energy surge from beyond the exercise perimeter. "Captain, we have multiple unidentified contacts approaching at high velocity," Commander Wei reported urgently. "Not Vraxian signatures." Zilith's communication came through immediately. "Vraxian collective to Earth vessels. We are detecting Krull hunter ships entering the area. They are not part of this exercise." "Krull?" Rice questioned sharply. "A species known for salvaging technology from others," Zilith explained quickly. "They must have detected our energy signatures. They are hostile to all advanced civilizations." Rice didn't hesitate. "All ships, battle formations, coordinate with Vraxian vessels." 7 Krull ships appeared, their dark hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light. Without warning or communication, they opened fire. Their weapons were primitive compared to what the Vraxians had demonstrated, but what they lacked in sophistication they made up for it in brute force. The Vraxian vessels activated their advanced shields, easily deflecting the initial assault. The Earth ships deployed their Kessler fields and inversive shielding in alternating patterns. "They're adapting their attack," Wei warned as the Krull ships adjusted their weapons' frequencies. "They're trying to find the resonance point of the Vraxian shields." Rice watched as one Krull beam punched through a Vraxian defensive field, scoring a hit on their smallest vessel. "The Vraxian conventional shields have a harmonics weakness," Chatri observed. "The Krull are exploiting it." Zilith's communication came through urgently. "We are adjusting, but our primary defense system requires recalibration. We need time." Rice made a split-second decision. "Defiant will provide cover. All Earth vessels implement the Artemis Protocol." President Seto's authorization codes were transmitted, unlocking Earth's most advanced defensive system. Unlike conventional weapons or shields, the Artemis Protocol was based on the principle of quantum entanglement on a massive scale. The 4 human ships simultaneously activated the system. Space itself seemed to ripple around them as millions of quantum-entangled particles created a networked defensive grid that encompassed both human and Vraxian vessels. "What is this?" Zilith demanded, patterns flashing with alarm and fascination. "Explanations later," Rice replied tersely. "Commander Wei, offensive configuration." The quantum grid suddenly extended tendrils toward the Krull vessels. Where they touched, the enemy ship's systems simply shut down. Their energy weapons, propulsion, even life support. It wasn't destruction but complete neutralization. Within minutes, the battle was over. The crawl ships drifted powerlessly, their crews presumably still alive but completely disabled. As the quantum field dissipated, Zilith's communication came through again. The Vraxians' patterns had changed to something Reyes couldn't interpret. This technology, Zilith said slowly, it affects systems at their fundamental level. Quantum entanglement manipulation, Reyes confirmed. It was meant to be a defensive measure, but it has offensive applications when necessary. The Vraxian was silent for a long moment. The collective has encountered many species throughout our exploration. Few have developed technologies that surprised us. Humans have now done so twice. The implied respect wasn't lost on Reyes. Different evolutionary paths lead to different solutions. We'd found that isolation can breed innovation. Indeed, Zilith agreed. The crawl will be contained. We owe you a debt for your assistance. Not a debt, Reyes corrected. The beginning of cooperation. As the human and Vraxian ships worked together to secure the disabled crawl vessels, Reyes knew that Earth's position in the galactic community had just been established. Not as a junior partner to be guided by more advanced civilizations, but as equals with unique contributions to offer. First Contact had evolved into First Alliance, born on the proving grounds of conflict. Humanity had demonstrated not just military capability, but adaptability and willingness to defend others, qualities that might prove just as valuable in the vastness of space. The Vraxians had come expecting to find a developing civilization. Instead, they found partners whose different path of evolution and innovation complemented their own. And in that difference lay the strength of what they could accomplish together.